Hello everyone, I am Wen Chao. I am presenting our work, HoW-3D, Holistic 3D Wireframe Perception from a Single Image. There are many forms to represent the 3D object shapes, such as meshes, point clouds, and 3D wireframes. Compared with other forms, the 3D wireframe provides a parsimonious representation for object understanding and manipulation. In the literature, the problem of 3D wireframe reconstruction has been addressed in simplified settings that either only aim at recovering the visible lines, learning from the single view line drawing given both visible and invisible 2D wireframe, or assumes a high fidelity. The often dense and accurate 3D point cloud can be computed at a first place. To perceive holistic 3D structure from 2D input images, previous methods often distill common sense of the specific class objects as prior knowledge. The 3D object shape can be reconstructed by combining the prior knowledge and visible cues from the single view images. When considering using a single view mesh reconstruction method to reconstruct the 3D model from our ABC-HoW dataset, its reconstruction performance is dramatically dropped, especially for the invisible parts of the objects, as these objects do not have any semantic priors. Thus we propose a new task in this paper, estimating the holistic 3D wireframe directly from a single-view 2D image without resorting to the intermediate point cloud representation and semantic prior. We call it HoW-3D for short. Humans have the strong power to infer the invisible parts from the visible cues via geometric reasoning without prior knowledge about the object. We term that hierarchical perception process as the Gestalt principles of human vision systems. Thus we aim to find a method that mimics the Gestalt principles, first detecting the visible wireframe as a basis, then inferring the invisible 3D structures from the visible cues, and finally achieving the goal of HoW-3D. We propose the Deep Spatial Gestalt model for the task of HoW-3D. Given the input image, our Deep Spatial Gestalt model first uses the line segment detector HOP to detect the 2.5D visible wireframe. Then we utilize two parallel encoder-decoder transformers to capture both the contextual information presented in the image features and the geometric information presented in the observable 2D wireframe. In the decoding stage, two parallel decoders share the same learnable queries to yield the hidden junctions. The hidden lines are obtained by verifying the enumeration of all pair proposals of the hidden junction and visible junctions. Then we obtain the initial 3D wireframe model by lifting the 2.5D holistic wireframe, which is finally refined by a graph convolution network. Because there is no available data for the new task of HoW-3D, we present a dataset named ABC-HoW, which contains 991 objects that are dominated by straight line segments as the main physical object boundaries from the ABC dataset. For each object, we render the images and 3D wireframe models from their meaningful viewpoints for the HoW-3D task. The left side displays a pair of the rendered image and the corresponding 3D wireframe model, and the statistic for the number of visible and invisible junctions and lines in the ABC-HoW dataset is shown in the right table. Experimentally, we show the visualization results of our DSG model and baseline methods compared with ground truth. For the setting of baseline methods, we first directly take the densely sampled point clouds for ground truth mesh to train the best performing method PC2WF as a perfect baseline. In addition, we extend the state-of-the-art 2D visible wireframe detector, HOP, to handle the task of HoW-3D. We term this baseline as HOP-X. The baseline method HOP-X remains a large gap in reconstructing the invisible parts compared with our DSG model, which demonstrates the key difference between the visible and invisible parts for the task of HoW-3D. The perfect baseline PC2WF can precisely detect 3D junctions, but the line verification module that depends on the features extracted from the unstructured point cloud is prone to misclassify the true positive lines. We also quantitatively evaluate our DSG model and baseline methods. The baseline method HOP-X failed to detect the invisible parts of the objects from the single-view images, and this further led to failures in the 3D space. And our DSG model shows very competitive results compared with PC2WF, which takes point cloud as inputs. Thanks for your watching this video and hope you like our work.